Good evening and welcome to Law Line. Law Line is a live call-in talk show brought to you by the attorneys of Levin, Papantonio. My name is Ben Gordon. I'm here with Daniel Nye. And once again, we're going to be talking to you about hip implants, and in particular, a recall that we mentioned last time we were on the show of a product called the Stryker Rejuvenate Hip Stem. And let me just remind everyone, show you a quick picture because a picture's worth 1,000 words. This is a picture, let me turn it over this way, of a modular Stryker stem. I'm going to compare it to the stem we showed you last time, which is a one-piece stem, which is therefore not modular. So this hip implant stem goes down into your femur. The femur is drilled out. It goes down into your femur, and then a ball connects to the top. In the last case we talked to you about, predominantly the problem we were seeing was with the ball and the shell that go into the acetabulum or the hip joint, the hip socket, whereas in this situation the Rejuvenate hip stem, it's this one, but it's in two pieces. This smaller piece over here to the right fits down into the longer piece, and the problem that has surfaced is corrosion that is taking place because of what they call fretting, an engineering term, between these two small metal pieces. So even though the total hip design of the Stryker device is not considered a metal-on-metal implant, you do still have a metal-on-metal connection here that is leading to the problem we're seeing in the patients. And Daniel, tell the folks a little bit about why this device was recalled and remind them of the timing of that.
Sure. The device was recalled July 4th, 2012, so not too long ago, and the press release was July 6th, 2012, that the Stryker Rejuvenate, and there are a few of you who may have what's known as the ABG2 that was recalled. So not a whole lot of those, but there were some of those that were recalled as well. The problem with the product is, as you can see in the picture, and what I'll show using this product here, is that this modularity, as it was being put inside of the product, there is too much force being put on this part inside of the product. And so as a result, as this thing is moving around, and I'll show you the rest of the hip here as well. So this is the way it attaches. You got the cup that goes inside of your acetabulum, the liner, or you know, some of them don't have a liner, but here with the Stryker Rejuvenate, most of them had a liner. So usually a polyethylene liner, or sometimes it has a ceramic ball instead of the metal ball. And then the stem would fit inside of it, and then this was a modular component that would fit inside of the stem. Now, you know, typically you could get some fretting or corrosion right at this component, but what we're seeing with this modularity is that there is quite a bit of fretting and corrosion taking place at that modular component, because as this thing moves, we get a lot of frictional torque that takes place. A lot of pressure is being put right on that modular component. And instead of having one tight cast of material, you're getting modularity there, which is causing a lot of that fretting and corrosion that we talked about. Now, there may be a couple other theories, too, as to why this may be causing problems. And one of those may be because of what's known as this TMZF alloy that was put on the outside of this product. That might have been one of the issues for it as well.
Why don't we come back to that? We've got two callers holding. Thank you, Daniel. Maybe I didn't answer the part about the recall. The reason this device was recalled, Daniel talked a little bit at the top of the hour, you may have missed that, this was simply because of the corrosion and fretting issues. In fact, let me read to the caller what Stryker said in their press release on July 6th. Now, they recalled this device, by the way, in April or May in Canada, I think it was. Daniel may correct me. And not for a few months later here in the States, for whatever reason. They were doing something and delayed that. They did send doctors letters in May and June telling them essentially this is a product recall communication, and so we're telling you that we don't want you to put these things in anymore. We want you to follow up with your patients, do this blood work. They didn't announce it to the general public, though, for whatever reason, until July 6th, and they did this. Stryker initiates a voluntary product recall of modular neck stems, action specific to Rejuvenate and ABG2 modular neck stems. That's what they're called, the two different devices that are very similar. And here's what they said. They said, while modular neck stems provide surgeons with an option to correct certain aspects of a patient's anatomy and hip biomechanics, given the potential risks associated with fretting and corrosion at the modular neck junction, the two metal pieces I showed you, Stryker Orthopedics decided to take this voluntary action said Stuart Simpson, Vice President and General Manager, Hip Reconstruction. So they're trying to put, obviously, the best spin they can on it to say that it was voluntary. The FDA didn't make them do it, that kind of thing. Obviously, the FDA is scrutinizing these devices more and more, and they were going to make them do it, so they were allowed, they allowed them to pull it off the market themselves voluntarily. So I hope I answered your question. Thank you, caller.